be like, hey, we won, and everyone's gonna be like, who gives a fuck? She's gonna kick my ass, so. Well, first and foremost, I don't think any of you fuckers know where Wales is.
Hey Tom, how are you? Hey.
Good man, how are you? My name is Tom, I'm 20 years old, from Cwmbran in Wales, although I'm half English, but I don't talk about that. I'm living here in CDMX. I came here, God, it's kind of a long story, but things changed. I was living in Sweden for 6 years and some things changed. And I was kind of going through a process of saying yes to a lot of things. And I don't know, it was the opportunity to come to a new place that I'd never been to before. And I decided to say yes. It was a good opportunity to come and see a different part of the world. Right now, I work for a magazine here. So I'm responsible for advertising and interviews. Well, like quite a legitimate one. The work shoes I had caused a cut on the back of my foot, and I got a foot infection. So very quickly my foot went black and blue, and I had to spend the first 2-3 weeks in Mexico essentially hobbling around. So I wouldn't say that's the best cultural thing, but it certainly helped me. It introduced me to the idea of pharmacies here, where they essentially, I guess, like, you need this, and also this. And I was like, oh, my monthly wage is gone. And yeah, so that was my first experience. So the one thing that hit me the most was how friendly and helpful people were here in contrast to people in Scandinavia. Nothing against people in Sweden, of course, like, it's very cold there. But, yeah, everyone here, despite my absolute lack of Spanish and fairly confused look in my face most of the time, everyone was really, really friendly and always wanted to help me. So yeah, that was super nice.
Are you trying?
Yeah, I mean, I am trying. So I moved between a lot of places before I live in this house now. It was more kind of, where am I going to live at this point? So my grandmother's actually fluent in Spanish, so if I go back to the UK and I can't speak Spanish with her, she's going to kick my ass. So I 100% have to like learn a bit of Spanish. So yeah, absolutely. I've only been here since July, so I'd say, geez, that's hard. I think the place I enjoyed the most was Chapultepec, up in the castle, where you can just see the whole of. I remember I was with a friend, and it's just a crazy forest stretching out, and I think we're looking at, and there's like a fairground or like a theme park or something in the distance, and she was like, oh yeah, that's also in the park, and I was kind of like, really? Fuck off, like there's no way. But I couldn't believe like the size and the scale of the city, and I think from that point I could have stayed there for hours just looking out. So Chapultepec, top of Chapultepec for sure. I think for sure the food, I know that's kind of cliche, but the food is unreal. I really enjoyed, my favorite is, I probably pronounce it really wrong like, but Horace. It's definitely my favorite. I think the thing I didn't like, see, when you come over from Europe, everyone talks about how dangerous and everything it is, so I spend a lot of time looking over my back, being worried about, you know, everything. But I think ultimately those fears were, I don't know how to describe it, like not really, they weren't really there. So I think that was the thing I least enjoyed, was kind of the paranoia that was put into me from coming over to a place that was dangerous. It made me less likely to talk to people, more worried about my personal belongings. Nothing really. I had a pretty bad experience with a set of bouncers in a nightclub, but I mean, it was largely my fault. I largely forgot where I was. I tried to stand up for a guy that was being attacked in a bathroom, and it turns out the guys that were attacking him were dealing substances that maybe aren't legal. And my friend pulled me away and obviously reminded me where I was. I'd had a couple of tequilas by that point, and I got taken out by some bouncers. Got punched around a little bit and thrown out onto the street, but I still managed to find my way home, so it wasn't the end of the world. It could have been much worse, as I understand. So. No. Me and my girlfriend broke up before I left Sweden. So my grandmother lives in England, so does my uncle, my auntie, and their son, who's very precious to me, so that's kind of hard, obviously being away from them. In Sweden, just a lot of really, really good friends, and of course my ice hockey team. I don't play ice hockey, I can't skate, but I used to go and watch them every week, so I'm a little bit homesick for that, but that's about it. I think Mexican girls very nice, maybe quite intense, I would say. I don't know how to put it in a polite way. In Sweden, they're very chilled out. Here, I don't know, maybe it might be the heat, I don't know. So it's a little different. I think Swedish girls like people from another country. So you might be in with a chance, but they're very stuck in their ways. Whereas Mexico is much more fluid, and I don't know how to describe it, but can kind of adapt to different cultures. Sweden doesn't really do that so much. In Wales, I mean, if you went to my village in Wales, you might be the first Mexican guy that was ever there. So you probably are going to be crowded with women, and or not. I can't guarantee either way, but I can't guarantee either way. Went to the pub in Wales with friends. I enjoy clubs with Swedes. But I think on the whole, Mexico encompasses both of those cultures in a way that you can have a really good time at a bar and a really good time at a club. And bearing in mind I'm very, very new here, so I've yet to experience a lot of what a lot of people have experienced. But I would say probably Mexico would be the best of both worlds. But gun to my head, if it were Wales to Sweden, I'd probably go Sweden because, you know, for me personally, like having moved around a lot, I don't really like to believe things about a culture that I go to. The main thing I had, obviously before I came here, I was in Sweden, in Stockholm, which is an incredibly safe society. I mean, Jesus, you could I could run naked through the whole of Stockholm and it'd be fine. Like no one's going to attack me or anything. I think the main thing I had actually was before I came here, was where I told my friends I was going to Mexico City, and they were like, oh my God, like, you realize that all this, like the cartels, you know, all, yeah. I was like, look, it's just basically a really, really big city. Like, Stockholm is a tiny city, and we have some small amount of crime. You increase the size of that city, there's also gonna be more crime. Yeah. I didn't really come into the city with any kind of predisposed notions of what I thought Mexicans would be like, or what I thought the culture would be like, or indeed what I thought, you know, the danger would be like, because that's what everyone says about Mexico City. I think like what I learned along the way was mostly, I've not been robbed, I've not been harassed, I've not been attacked, apart from when, you know, I had some trouble or whatever. All I've really, really experienced is people that are very, very friendly, very, very loving, very, very willing to share their culture, despite the fact that I don't speak Spanish yet. And I think I didn't come here with any predisposed notions of what it would be like, but I was still shocked by how good it was, if that makes sense, in a way. Well, first and foremost, I don't think any of you fuckers know where Wales is. Like I say, galés, which if I'm to understand the translation, means Gaelic. So that could be Irish, Scotland, or Wales. I always contrasted my experience in Sweden where people were just like, oh yeah, that's that place that's just south of Scotland or whatever. Like they'd always, Mexican people haven't really been like that in my experience. They've just asked questions. They've just been like, oh, so what is your culture? Like, what do you guys like? I think Mexican people who probably are really tired of being judged as a people themselves have just asked questions, which has been quite refreshing, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even close, bro. Fucking Mexican food. Welsh food is, well, Welsh and Swedish food are fairly tasteless and whatever. I remember when I first came here, I literally couldn't eat enough. Like, because everything here is so full of flavor and passion. It's the best. I think there's ignorance in Wales. I think we live in a little bubble where, like, most of us consider a big international trip to get the bus over to London to go and do our Christmas shopping. I don't think that racism does exist in Wales. I think that we're a nice people. I just think that we don't have an understanding of other cultures. And I mean that genuinely from the bottom of my heart. I don't think that there's like a bad bone, any kind of nationalistic anything in our bodies. It just stems from essentially living in a country where we don't have very much money to travel anywhere, so we don't get to see much of the world. I mean, I don't understand the culture enough to know that yet. The only thing I know is that there's no Afro culture here. There's no which is a little bit unnerving to me a little bit. I don't know of any racism in Mexico because I haven't been here long enough. I'm pretty young here to be making judgments on a lot of the questions that I've answered in terms of culture and everything like that. I can tell you that now I'm living in a house where I feel very comfortable and I'm really, really happy. And I'm going to start to kind of go out and enjoy Mexico a bit more. If you want to show me other places. I miss my little brother Ollie, my little sisters Erin and Liana, my dad, my stepmom, my granny, my uncle. Nothing else really culturally. I mean, the Rugby World Cup is starting now. I'm a big rugby boy, so I miss being there to watch that. Here, I'm basically gonna have to watch that at 5 in the morning and be like, "Hey, we won!" and everyone's gonna be like, "Who gives a fuck?" In Sweden, I miss a lot of my friends. Dunk, Ben, so many of them, but Erica. But honestly, it's fun. It's fun being here.
Okay.
Expect the unexpected, as cliche as that sounds. I came here and in 2 days I had the worst foot infection. I didn't even understand how it happened. Food poisoning isn't something I've really experienced until this week, sadly. I don't know, I just say reach out and just try and network and enjoy people around you. Meet people from a lot of other different countries other than Mexico. Everyone here is so willing to help you. Everyone here is so willing to show you stuff. Everyone wants to show you what they found, this market, this whatever. And if you I would just say if you come here, obviously be safe with it, but say yes to a lot of things. And I think you'll have a good time.
Okay.
Go to Newport, come up to Cwmbran, and then go over to Cardiff, see the capital, beautiful place. The bay as well is lovely. And then again, go over to Swansea, Warrant University, one of the most beautiful beach cities in the world. And then get the fuck back to Mexico because it's warmer and the food tastes better, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Wales for the World Cup. That's it.
Thank you very much. Good luck and take care.
Cheers to you, bro. Take it easy.